Mickey van der Ven has made it clear he rates international teammate Crescencio Summerville very highly as Tottenham weigh up a potential transfer. Pedro Porro signs a new long-term contract at Spurs which will keep him at the club into his 30s, with De Zerbi describing Porro as a vital member of his plans, praising both his quality and mentality. And Tottenham target Jan-Paul van Hecke will undergo further checks with the Netherlands medical team on Monday after suffering a severe swelling around his right eye during Holland's 2-2 World Cup draw against Japan in Dallas. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And please make sure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live or upload a video to the channel. Okay, let's get into it. Football.London report that Mickey van der Ven has made it clear he rates international teammate Crescencio Summerville very highly as Tottenham weigh up a potential transfer. Spurs considered raiding their Premier League relegation rivals West Ham for the flying winger in January, but the Hammers were not willing to listen to offers for the former Leeds United starlet. However, West Ham's relegation changes the picture and Summerville is thought to be up for grabs before the start of the 2026-27 campaign. Netting on his World Cup debut will have done his chances of earning a big transfer no harm at all, as Van der Ven talked up his compatriot. The versatile Tottenham defender said, "We all see that he's a really good player. He's shown his quality also at West Ham and did really well the last couple of months. He just came into the team, but we all welcomed him with open arms. We know his qualities, we know what he can do, and I think he showed it today as well." He said after curling home in the second half on his weaker foot, "It's a very proud moment for myself and my family." Summerville mustered 7 goals and 5 assists for the Irons last term, but couldn't fire Nuno Espirito Santo's men to Premier League safety. Tottenham have also been linked with Liverpool winger Cody Gakpo as they seek to strengthen Roberto De Zerbi's wide options. Manchester City forward Savinho, of course, remains a key target of interest, and Spurs have been trying to bring the Brazilian through the door since last summer, when he decided to remain at the Etihad Stadium for another season. Tottenham Hotspur's decision to hand Pedro Porro a lucrative long-term contract has been widely welcomed by supporters. Porro, 26, has committed his future to Spurs after signing an extension that reportedly keeps him at the club until 2031 with an option for a further year. The new agreement ends speculation linking the Spanish international with moves to Manchester City and Real Madrid, while underlining Roberto De Zerbi's desire to build his side around key players. Extending Porro's contract was an important piece of business for Tottenham, with few proven alternatives in the squad and strong interest from rival clubs. Spurs were keen to secure the future of a player regarded as one of the club's most influential performers. De Zerbi has publicly described Porro as a vital member of his plans, praising both his quality and mentality. De Zerbi said, "Pedro is a very important player for us, who has consistently shown his ability to influence matches in both defensive and attacking situations, as well as his technical quality. I also love his mentality. Every day he wants to work, to learn and to improve, and these are the characteristics that help players reach the highest level. He understands football in a very intelligent way and brings energy, intensity and personality to the team. This new contract is good news for everyone at the club. We believe in Pedro and I am excited to continue working with him and helping him achieve even more in the coming years." The Mirror report that Tottenham transfer target Jan-Paul van Hecke is set to be assessed by the Dutch national team medical staff on Monday after he suffered significant swelling to his right eye in Holland's 2-2 World Cup draw with Japan in Dallas. The issues sustained from a kick worsened during the second half, and images of the bruising taken as he greeted his family in the stands have raised further alarm. Van Hecke has also since revealed the damage impacted his vision, stating, "He kicked me in the eye with all his might. I was heading for the ball, so I thought something might happen. At some point, it definitely affected my vision. I can't see very well on that side right now. I hope it will get better in a few days. I think it will swell up a bit more, but that's also part of the game." While it's not clear when the incident took place, Van Hecke was able to complete the full 90 minutes as Ronald Koeman's side surrendered the lead on two separate occasions in their Group F opener. After seeing two bids rejected, Spurs remain in discussions with Premier League counterparts Brighton over a deal for the central defender, who is eager to reunite with former boss Roberto De Zerbi in North London. Van Hecke is thought to have made it clear he only wants to join Tottenham. Okay, here's my thoughts on those stories today. Again, as you would expect, with the World Cup going on, not tons of news around. But firstly, Mickey van der Ven speaking very highly there of Crescencio Summerville. And Summerville, for me, and just my opinion, I think he's... I would prefer Spurs sign Summerville over Savinho. Look, Savinho, great player, but I just see more from Summerville at this time. Look, they've both got really high ceilings. I watched Summerville when he was at Leeds in the Championship, and obviously the Championship is a Championship, different league to the Premier League, but I thought he was pretty good in a very poor West Ham side. Summerville put him with De Zerbi. I think he could really, really do well under Roberto De Zerbi, to be honest with you. So he's still a player that I think we should be looking at and bidding for. But as we all said many times, myself included, whatever players De Zerbi wants in, you have to trust the manager. So he knows better than all of us, doesn't he? It's just speculation, it's just personal opinion. So, but for me, I totally agree with what Mickey van der Ven said there on Crescencio Summerville. I think he is a superb player. I think I look at him and I think, yeah, I can see him playing in a Spurs shirt. He's one of those sorts of players. So, look, personal opinion, as I say, but if it was me, I'd rather have Summerville over Savinho. But get down in the comments, let me know. You might feel different to me. Secondly, Porro, new contract for Porro. I think this is really good news. I think Porro gets a bad rap sometimes from supporters. I think Pedro Porro is one of the best right-backs in the league. Brilliant delivery, brilliant crossing ability. Obviously going to be boosted as well by playing for his national side in the World Cup. New contract at Tottenham, settled in the Premier League, of course, which would have probably been a big thing for all our big players, if you like. So we've got that secured. So Porro signed his new deal, and I think this is really good news. What's not to like? You know, keeping somebody like Pedro Porro at the club, I think, is really important. Really pleased that the club have got this done. Obviously, no guarantees he stays till he's 31, 32 years old, but tying players down at that age to a long-term deal can only be good. Obviously, we don't know what's happening with Romero yet, but De Zerbi obviously wants a solid back line next year. We don't want to be in a position where we're bringing in anybody in certain positions that would, sounds horrible to say, weaken the defence when players come in. You want just a seamless transition, don't you? And it's keeping hold of players like Pedro Porro is going to help us achieve that. Of course, is it going to be him and Jed Spence battling out for that right back spot next season with Robertson, you would think, challenging Udogie on the other side. So I just think this deal is a really good one to get done. And congratulations to Porro and thank you, Porro, for staying at Spurs for another few years, hopefully. And finally, the news on Van Hecke, the injury. Yeah, I mean, he got a whack in the face, basically. That's all there is to say. Hopefully he's going to be okay. It's more the reason for mentioning this, other than to just bring your attention to the fact that he got a whack in the face. Does seem like this, again, is going to be interrupted, this transfer, by the World Cup, as we all know. Seems like the player wants Spurs. Seems like the player only wants Tottenham. And it's just going to be, can Brighton and Spurs come to a suitable solution to this. It would seem just the transfer fee. We spoke about it before. How high is too high? How much did you watch the Netherlands game last night? Did you see, what did you make of Hecke? I know it's difficult in one game. I'm sure you've seen him play for Brighton last season as well. How much do you think that player's worth? Do you think 60, 70 million? Brighton wants 70 million. They value him at 70 million, and that's what you're kind of dealing with. If this gets done, probably in the region of 60, 65, you would think Spurs would be paying for Hecke. It's not our money, is it? But the only thing I would worry about is it going to be taking money away from other areas? It shouldn't do, because Spurs apparently want to do things differently now. So, you've got to just go out, spend the money and get, if you want to play it, you pay the money and get it done. That's how it's got to be. This is how it's got to be different now. Whatever we think, that's a lot to play for that player. But I think, me included, we just got to just basically look at the situation and say, that's the going rate for a experienced Premier League player, whether it be a defender, a winger, a striker, whatever. Obviously, striker, there's going to be a premium on their price, but that's what you're paying to get an experienced Premier League defender, and obviously that bit of premium put on that as well because of that. But De Zerbi wants the player, so I think Spurs are at the point now where they can't mess around anymore. They can't try and cheap out and go for the cheaper option, because it doesn't work. And that's what I hope Spurs have learnt from years of neglect, really. They've got to do things differently. And if they want Hecke, they've got to pay the money. But as I say, I'm not sure that's going to be completed till after the World Cup. But let's see how that goes. That's all from me today. Get down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now and about all those stories today. And as always, come on you Spurs.